Morning, Patriots. JT Serenity Farms Prepping here. I felt compelled to do an update, not necessarily an update, but another video on mass formation psychosis, aka mass delusional psychosis, aka being hypnotized, some circles also known as Stockholm Syndrome. Make no mistake, before it got to the PBJ thing, this was likely the largest worldwide psy-op ever done to mankind. In order to properly execute a psy-op, it consists of several stages. You can't just do everything at one time and expect the people to automatically comply based on fear or hysteria. Although a incident such as an atomic bomb dropped on a country would very likely get an entire population to comply immediately. But that isn't what the powers that be, that start with a D, wanted. They didn't want to ruin the country, the infrastructure, so that it would never be able to be used again. They want the infrastructure and the land. What they don't want is people. So, in order to do that, first you must create confusion and fear. And they can be fear and confusion, or confusion and fear. But you have to create those. You got to drip those out. And that was done with Comrade Doctor and the three-letter agencies continually flip-flopping on everything. How far apart you could be from someone. Standing, sitting, walking, chewing. Numbers, hospitals, deaths. But yet no bodies lying in the streets anywhere. So by continually flip-flopping and putting out misinformation with absolutely zero scientific data, not a single peer-reviewed report on anything they've told you that you had to do. They create confusion. Then by falsifying all the numbers, stats, and data, throwing them to the colluding fake news media to continually put on a 24/7 loop to cause fear, anxiety, and confusion. Eventually, they start bringing in the stupid, illegal, and unconstitutional edicts, suggestions, guidelines, requirements, and those dates that you could go on with another man. They had enough people scared, confused, frightened, and indoctrinated that they just blindly, willingly, gleefully complied. But they didn't get as many as they thought. So they needed to gin up more fear and confusion for those who had already swallowed it, so that they would take it upon themselves to start shaming and showing us their anger and fear and anxiety, trying to force and coerce our compliance. And that worked, in that a lot of the sheepletards who, just based on their ideology of racism, hatred, bigotry, the orange man, conservatives, they were going to go do the thing irregardless of any information that came out about how dangerous it was. It didn't matter. They were doing it because we weren't. Yeah, that's what I do with things I know nothing about and I want to be an experiment. So, in order to have the thing distributed worldwide they wanted 100% of the population. They're never going to get it. They're not even close to the numbers that they tell you they are daily here in the USSA. There's probably at least 1/3 of the population that said, "You're number one, Joey." And we're not going to. We will die doing everything we can to not do the thing. So, let's talk about the children for a moment. There is no scientific data proving that everything they're doing to the children helps them. There is plenty of peer-reviewed actual data by real doctors that show how immensely dangerous and counterproductive it is to children of all ages. But it's only about compliance and control. The teachers are being used. Many of them are full on board with it because they also are very weak and fell for it. So they're using the teachers to punish the children, to punish the parents, to try and force more compliance, knowing full well that the dumbing down of these students, they said every year, the past 2 years that the kids had to do virtual learning, each year was 3 years setback, and the USSA was already far behind any other country in terms of math, reading, skills, which was also all by intent, because a stupid, dumbed down population like Gen Z and the upcoming generations are so much easier to control when the only thing they've been taught is what you want them to know. There can be no questioning authority. There can be no discourse. There can be no independent thought because they've never been taught any of it. And those who are never taught history are doomed to repeat it. So what we're seeing now, when we see people cross the street to avoid me because I won't wear anything on my face, when they knock over a display section in China Mart because I will walk directly at them smiling just to make them move, when we see people driving in their cars by themselves, jogging by themselves. I've seen people swimming by themselves. You get where I'm going with it. Those people, we ain't going to fix them. They're going to get their fix in 3 to 6 to 18 months, maybe a few years. Who knows? Time will tell. But I just wanted to try and explain better how this mass delusion, mass psychosis, hypnosis has taken over half the population here in the USSA. There isn't a lot we can do about this except keep dropping hints to people. Slowly, some people are coming out of their delusion, their psychosis. But we're going to have to deal with a new psychosis when they all realize that they were guinea pigs and there may or may not be things that can be done to help try and save them physically, let alone up here. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT. Oh yeah, that chair is filled with newly acquired ammo. Signing off.